I would now like to recognize Ms. Marie Rogers, the state winner of last year's Excellence in Agriculture Award, to announce the winner of the Excellence in Agriculture Award.
Good evening. I am Marie Rogers, the state winner of last year's Excellence in Agriculture Award. I'm delighted to be with you this evening to announce the winner of this year's Excellence in Agriculture Award contest. This contest seeks to recognize outstanding young agriculture professionals in our state for their dedication to agriculture, leadership skills, and Farm Bureau involvement. Please turn your attention to the screen to meet this year's regional winners.
Our first nominee is Craig Hankins of Bolivar County. Craig is a county extension agent focusing on agriculture, natural resources, and 4-H youth development.
As an extension agent, my main priority is as an educator. So whether it be with 4-H kids, farmers, whatever programs I do, our main goal is to educate. I take the research that Mississippi State, the specialists and all are taking and looking at and putting together. I take that and I kind of use that to educate my local guys on what they need to be doing to make a better crop or raise animals, dealing with 4-H or whatever the case may be.
One of the ways he helps educate is by his work with the Delta Ag Expo each January in Cleveland.
We'll have about 120 exhibitors, 120 to 130 exhibitors come in and set up booths at the expo building. It'll be a 2-day deal. We have speakers, some different parts of the country come in to give some different perspectives on things, some training, some updates from our university research specialists.
Craig also works hard promoting rice with his work on the Rice Tasting Luncheon that recently held its 25th anniversary.
Restaurants from all over the Delta send in dishes, rice dishes, so it's called the Rice Tasting Luncheon. They send in rice dishes from all over, different restaurants all over the Delta. People from all over the community, they come in, they taste these different rice dishes, kind of promoting Mississippi-grown rice. Bolivar County is the #1 rice-producing county in the state.
Craig says that one of the biggest problems facing agriculture is the public's perception of what we do for a living. He says it's time to do something to tell our story.
There's a big time effort of farm families, Mississippi farm families through Farm Bureau is doing a really good job to combat the issue that we've got, and my understanding is that's just grown every year. The commercials, the billboards, the advertising you see, a lot of people, when they see that there's another side and they start asking questions. When they start asking questions, they start figuring stuff out for themselves. And when it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, when you start asking questions and you figure out that, hey, maybe what other people are saying isn't all that completely true. So Farm Families campaign has really done a lot to help the farmers, especially in Mississippi.
Next, we have Nick Symmonds from Tippah County. Nick is the extension agent in Ripley.
I serve as the Ag and Natural Resources agent, so that encompasses a lot. Pretty much anything that deals with ag, horticulture, turf grass, animal systems, plant systems. Natural resources kind of takes care of our forestry and land management. So most of my consultation work deals with clients that have an interest in those areas.
Row crops and cattle production are the biggest commodities in Tippah County. They also have a lot of farmers growing hay.
A lot of guys have gotten into the hay production to meet the needs of the cattle producers. Most of those are row crop guys, do rotational cropping, make sure that they've got all their information, especially fertility. A lot of guys have really gotten interested in soil fertility, so we've kind of amped up our services with that.
Nick grew up on a farm, and that background has helped him with his current job.
We had horses. I grew up showing dairy. I grew up showing horses. We had the beef animals. Early on, we did some row cropping. We mainly kind of swapped over to mainly the beef and animal production as I grew up. Had a lot of opportunities with 4-H, with the livestock, and it kind of led to me getting into agriculture in college.
Nick thinks the future is bright for agriculture in his county.
With the strength of our youth programs, our 4-H program. We've got a strong FFA chapter here in the county. We've got kids they're around it all the time and they see how important it is. But I think one of the unique things is that you've got kids that didn't grow up on a farm. You know, they're not around agriculture, but you know, maybe it's encouragement by other friends. They're getting involved in 4-H. They're getting involved in FFA. They're learning about agriculture, where their food comes from. And so not only are we getting the kids that are, you know, not a legacy producer or a legacy farmer per se, they're a brand new individual that comes into agriculture. And I think that's been something that has been really encouraging for the survival of agriculture going forward.
Nick and his wife Michelle have 3 children: Alan Thomas, who is 8, Weston, who is 3, and 1-year-old Anna. Our next finalist is John Carson from Rolling Fork. John is an extension agent for Sharkey and Issaquena counties. He's responsible for providing leadership opportunities and coordinating educational events to local folks.
It's always something new. Mainly I deal with agricultural row crops. That's my main duties or responsibilities. But I also have other responsibilities such as 4-H and then community resource development. So 4-H includes shooting sports, horse events, livestock events, things of that nature, and then community resource development, help out in the community wherever I can, whether it be annual festivals, annual events, things of that nature.
John is also involved in the 4-H youth program on a county, regional, and state level. The goal of the program is to strive to improve the quality of life for all youth by developing positive experiences and providing hands-on educational programs. John feels that there are a number of issues that agriculture is now facing.
On a state level, I think in our area, the most pressing event is the herbicide resistance or pesticide resistance we have in insects and then weeds around here. And what we do with the county extension service is hold different workshops, seminars, educational events for our local producers to educate them on new technologies that are coming out to help them combat that problem that's coming. That's on a state level. On a national level, a world level, I think it's different. I think you need to look at what the research shows is the world population is looking to expand to 9 billion people by the year 2050 and 11 billion people by the year 2100.
John's been involved with his local county farm bureau in several capacities since 2013. John and his wife Tori have 2 children, Lily Grace, who is 6, and 3-year-old Reed. Next we have Matthew and Gaia Hawk from Starkville. The Hawks are both affiliated with Mississippi State University.
I'm an assistant professor of agricultural information science with a 70% teaching appointment and 30% MAFIS research appointment. And so I teach undergraduate and graduate coursework and then do some research projects in addition to that.
I'm currently working on my PhD in agronomy, so just all field crops in general, specifically looking at corn right now. My master's was in corn agronomics, looking at different planting dates and populations, and then the effects that that has on different hybrids and water conservation and just kind of a slew of different things.
As an educator, Gaia says her students are very much interested in becoming agriculture advocates.
That's kind of a phrase that we use, and learning how to better communicate about agriculture to the general public. And so I work with students who are going to be ag teachers, extension agents, go out and be communicators, or return to the family farm and have to be able to speak to their, people in their community about what they're doing on their farm.
Agriculture illiteracy is a problem that Gaia and Matthew say needs addressing.
Ag in the classroom starts with the students in the classroom setting and the teachers that are teaching those students. Julie White is a great advocate for our industry with her initiative of Farmtastic that has now went all across the state, and Farm Bureau is engaged in that. Programs like this where you recognize people who are out there advocating for agriculture and promoting agriculture, and then the different organizations and commodity groups that exist in our state and across the nation, that's what they do every day is to promote agriculture.
The Hawks have become very involved with Farm Bureau, and Gaia has been instrumental in starting the very first collegiate discussion meet held in November on the MSU campus. Gaia also represented Mississippi in the American Farm Bureau discussion meet this past January in San Diego and made it all the way to the Sweet 16. Communications seems to be their forte.
I try. That's my educational background, though, is how do I communicate and educate people about agriculture. And there's certain things that we need to really continue to promote and advocate and really, be passionate about getting the word out and serving our agriculturalists.
And I really like working in the field, so it works out well.
It keeps me grounded.
Our next nominee is Brian Layton from McGee. Brian is a full-time diesel technician for Mississippi Ag Company in Simpson County.
I've been there full-time for a year now, and I was there 3 years part-time. I do mainly small ag and turf and utility, and I do some large ag, row crops and stuff like that.
The Layton family has been farming for 3 generations on the same farm in Simpson County. They grow row crops and also cattle, steers, and chickens.
This is what I've leased here. My family farm is on another patch of land. I've leased this so I can put my cows and my beans on it, and it's about 45 acres.
This is Brian's first year to actually farm on his own. It's quite a challenge with a full-time job.
Oh, it's tough. I get a lot of help from my dad. He helps me out a lot. Just having a job, and then coming and doing this, when you get off work, you go back to work.
Even though he's a first-year farmer, Brian realizes that there are some tough issues facing farmers.
Really, right now, the bird flu is going to be a big factor in especially chicken farming. And my dad, he has chicken houses, and that's a big, big fear of something that could happen and be catastrophic. And also, just crop prices, they're always going up and down, and do we need this, do we not need that? And it's a real big issue on what you can do, and if you're going to be able to do it again next year if you make enough to go back at it.
Many of you may remember Brian's grandfather, Maurice Layton. Mr. Maurice was a big part of Farm Bureau for many years, even winning the coveted Excellence in Leadership Award in 2008. He was also instrumental in distributing donated supplies in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina.
I don't remember a whole lot about what he did. I wasn't real old whenever he was real big involved. I know he won some awards for himself in our county, and I just want to strive to be like him and do what he did.
Our final nominee is Kenneth Parker. Kenneth is a high school ag teacher at South Jones High School in Ellisville.
Well, the classes, I teach Ag and Natural Resources 1 and 2, and I teach an Intro to Agri-Science class. We got several things going on, animal science and plant science. We got a lot of livestock exhibits coming up. But the big thing we're doing right now is a renovation on the greenhouse. We have just got a hydroponic system that we want to get set up, but to do that, we have to put in a new evaporative cooling system, and new fans, and replumb everything. This greenhouse is over 30 years old, and it has had very little maintenance work done to it, so it's actually in pretty good shape. But we're just going to redo all that so we can start fresh, and that's what the kids are doing right now.
Kenneth says it's important to teach kids about agriculture, even if they're not going to be farmers.
You can do without a lot of stuff, but if agriculture shuts down, we're all gone. You don't eat, you don't wear clothes, and it's just, that's the foundation. Situation demands it. They know where, how, to survive. They need to know how to plant stuff. They need to know how to grow stuff. I hope it doesn't come to it, but if there's ever a complete economic collapse, they may only have themselves to depend on. And if you don't have a clue where to even start, you're not going to make it. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to teach them is independence.
Kenneth practices what he preaches. He has a truck crop farm that he works on also.
We do tomatoes, a dozen different varieties of peppers, cucumbers, squash. We grow onions, potatoes, corn, sugar cane, okra. We do the sugar cane for syrup. We'll start that here in a month or so. Those are our biggest crops. We do cabbage and broccoli. During the winter, we'll do collards, turnips, and mustards. We also do bees. We raise bees both for pollination purposes. We resell the bees themselves during the spring, and we collect honey, mostly the honey.
Over the next 5 years, Kenneth intends to get his national board certification and earn his specialist's degree and PhD in higher education administration. with the possibility of one day becoming a vocational director. And those are the nominees for the 2015 Young Farmers and Ranchers Excellence in Ag Award.
The winner of the Excellence in Agriculture Award will receive a zero-turn lawnmower, compliments of Southern Ag Credit, $500, compliments of Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, a Yeti cooler, compliments of Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Company, and an expense-paid trip to compete in the AFBF Young Farmers and Ranchers Excellence in Agriculture Award Contest held at the American Farm Bureau Federation Annual Convention in Orlando, Florida during January 2016. The Excellence in Agriculture Award winner for 2015 is Matthew and Gaia Hawk. Please join me at the podium to accept your awards and say a few words.
Maybe Matthew wants to talk. I always do. Thank you so much for this honor. We do want to extend a congratulations to our fellow contestants. We can't do everything, and we need Farm Bureau members and our fellow contestants out there also helping to educate and advocate for the agricultural industry. I do want to thank Farm Bureau for having this competition to recognize the efforts of those of us who aren't lucky enough to be farming full-time as our profession, but are very passionate about it, about educating the future of agriculture, whether it be school-based, through extension, or through other programs that exist. We look forward to going to Orlando, and I made a joke yesterday to Anita Webb that when my kid asks to go to Disney, I can just tell them they've already been.
And I just want to thank everybody as well, just how smoothly this whole conference goes and all the work that goes into it, Samantha, and the president and the other members of YF&R, and just your kindness that you've showed us from transplants. We really appreciate it, and just thank you very much.